I'm calling this my Oddball Masterclass. We're breaking down a full round of Oddball today. This is YouTube viewer gameplay at a high diamond level. There's an intense amount of info in here that can help you improve at Halo across the board, not just in Oddball and regardless of your level of play. And I figure since we just got a winter update and the ranks just reset, that now might be a good time to finally hit Onyx if you're trying to. This video is also part of a larger series where I break down viewer gameplay and share insights to help you guys improve. If you want me to break down your gameplay in a future video, don't forget to put your gamertag and rank in the comments. That's where I find you guys. By the way, if you're new to Halo or coming back into it with this recent update, you want to get up to speed, I've done some reorganizing with the playlists on my channel. I've taken all the videos in this series where I break down YouTube viewer gameplay, that's in a playlist. If you want call out and map guides, we got to make more of those soon. That's all in a playlist. If you want pro player breakdowns, that's in a playlist. So I've just kind of reorganized things to help you guys out. I've been doing this for a while now, and I think we built up a pretty extensive catalog at this point. And I plan to keep that going as long as you guys support it. So don't forget to sub and share the content if you like it. Let's break down some Halo. A lot we could touch on in this first life. He's playing out the left-hand side here, very fast and aggressive, which this is risky. I find a lot of people tend to pre-nade this area off the opening strat. He's got a teammate with him, which makes this a little better, but a good alternative to this would be maybe to just wait at top C and watch and kind of pre-nade in advance, because people like to play this lane aggressively. If you want to play fast, you can try hitting a drop slide down this lane here and then coming up with a flank. I often see that in pro play. Because otherwise, I think it's kind of lucky that he doesn't eat a pre-nade here. This player just misses an opportunity to nade him. If you're this player playing off the right-hand side on the opening, the first thing you want to do is notice where your team is. His three teammates are playing B. He's solo on this lane, so you should slow this down. You can slide forward, throw a nade, and then just play here and peek off the damage here so you can stay alive. You don't get overwhelmed. If instead you're trying to be sneaky, maybe the nade throw exposes you. If that's the case, then you should be very ready to use your Shroud and at least play for the Shoddy. I find it surprising that we're still GAing Shoddy in a diamond lobby. Like, I can understand if the pro perspective is kind of popular in ranked play, but if you're not Onyx 1700 plus, I feel like the weapons aren't overpowered. Like, I would just play for the shotgun personally until you get into lobbies with competitive like pro players, or not, whatever works. Honestly, the point is this player had opportunities he didn't take advantage of, and now we're 2v1'ing him, so he should die on this lane, but somehow we miss him. We should know his exit route, his ATM here. We kind of catch him in our peripheral, I think, and then don't see him. Just as a rule of thumb off the opening strat, you should prioritize playing your lane, focusing on your kills and clearing out your side of the map before worrying about anywhere else, especially if that means getting access to the oddball. If we kill this player and you're paying attention to kill feed in this moment, it's a 3v2 on the map. We know at least one player has to be B-rail because our teammate is fighting him. He's got an exclamation point above his head. So that means we've got an easy opportunity to grab the oddball and rotate it back to C right off the opening strat and do a ball setup. Instead, we miss him, and now we got to chase him all the way around the map here. By the time we get to him, our teammate ends up dying, and then we kill him, and it's less than 10 seconds to camo, and we can't really safely grab the ball anymore. So what might have been big-brained is the moment that you backed him down, if he instead just grabbed the ball and then brought it out this way to the sight line of his teammate, he might have been able to just bait that one shot right back around and then killed him later, right? That one shot had to run away in that moment. He had a clear shield advantage. Either way, we're down numbers. We got 2 X's in front of us. The camo's about to spawn. If we grab the oddball here, we can't really afford to hold it for very long. You can grab it and throw it out to the perimeter, throw it away from the enemy, then just focus on shooting with your one surviving teammate. Shoot the same thing, playing the same lane together. That's your best chance of survival here. Probably could have fought through Cafe to A side to secure the better side of the map for camo and keep the enemy off of camo here. Instead, we sort of missed that opportunity and we give up camo for free. But I guess thankfully the one saving grace here is how this player stays alive and how they play around the oddball, playing out a little bit far here. I'm not sure if this was accidental, but it shoots the ball out to bottom C stairs, which is a good location to bait it. We get lucky that we turn around and sort of surprise attack camo and kill camo. That's a huge kill. But this is what we want to do, is kind of stay in the same lane together, keep our presence low, focus on securing kills while the oddball is down in a location that we can bait so they don't get any time while they have a numbers advantage. Now we've kind of flipped things on them. Our team is coming from the A side of the map. That's where we were spawning. The enemy's coming from C. Enemy spawning in C here. Kind of a risky place to survive, by the way. If you hide here, this is better. Cuts more sight lines. Just in general, when you're living in that area, we know the enemy's coming from C here. They just lost another. And a third one just died. That'll pop up on the kill feed. So 3 enemies dead. He's now rotating ball back to team. Now this timing, he's getting shot in the back, but I like that we juggle the ball. He drops it in this moment to get through faster. And he's got 2 teammates in position to shoot this player on C balcony to help him get through. So this is good timing, and thankfully, you know, we make it through. Now we're not juggling anymore, right? Collect all the time here. As the oddball carrier, it's important that you're paying attention to where your team is spawning. That's the game telling you where it's safe on the map to rotate the ball. So with his teammate spawning in A, that means he can rotate the ball through back A safely. There's a low possibility that somebody's going to come out through caution and shoot him right away. As the oddball carrier, you're the 4th man on the map. It's important that you are part of the formation and you're ready to shoot and contribute at all times. You're not just like meleeing a wall doing nothing, right? So be ready to switch weapons and shoot at any moment. Pay attention to your teammates' exclamation points, where they're getting shot, who's out solo. Like Mircy here is alone, so I like the fact that we're kind of looking, seeing if we can contribute. And then notice the areas and sight lines that are exposed here. So we get important kills, sight line right through mid-map, right? So something just to kind of log is like both mid-map and right map are open sight lines. They can see you through to bottom mid here. As he comes through and shoots us, we walk out, dodge that. Our teammate comes in, melees him, and then we look away. Pay attention to these team fights. That's a one shot and a free pickup right there, right? So you're kind of filling in the gaps as the oddball player and just looking for opportunities for easy cleanups. As we start to lose our teammates and we're at a numbers disadvantage, which we are, this is where you want to drop the ball and start to bait it, start to slay once again. So I like what's happening here. Camo's up again, enemy in C again. We put great damage down from P Street here. We know this player is exposed in our sight line. We could have cut him out of the equation by moving over towards this direction and isolating the lane. If you want to guarantee that kill, you can slide out and guarantee it, or use your shroud in this situation, either to stay alive or to block this sight line. He's had a shroud in the back pocket this entire life, so just remembering that you have it and finding an intentional moment to use it. Off spawn, we jump straight in the air for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there, but this is an interesting life. He reads the spawn of the enemy and waits for them. Off of his spawn, he can see where his team is. He's got one in C blocking C, one center map, one over towards B, meaning that as he pushes forward here, the only open space for the enemy to spawn has to be PD. So good spawn awareness here. We end up waiting and hoping to see a fight, and then it takes a while for anybody to see the sight line. If you know they're spawning PD and they're not coming out caution, they're coming back A, right? They're going to shoot you in the left-hand side in about 3 seconds. And you got to be ready for that possibility as well if you know they're spawning in PD. Now, all of this, you know, despite the awareness, didn't need to happen. The oddball is sitting in ATM right now. And this is the most important thing in the game, is just controlling the oddball. Our teammates are getting kills in C, and the kill feed's going to show you that. Right now, we have a clear numbers advantage. There's only one guy alive on the map, and we're all 4 up. So all you should be doing in this moment is just running to oddball, rotating it to C, and getting a C setup. So his spawn awareness is good here, though be careful of back A, but his timing is bad, right? The oddball is a priority, and we got to rotate the oddball. We have an easy opportunity to get it to C before the PD guys can do anything about it. Now, he might have thought that his teammates were going to get the ball instead, and this happens often in matchmaking. This teammate has camo. Maybe that's why he's not going for ball. he definitely could have gone for ball in this moment. He was not really contributing to the team fight in C. And this happens. Welcome to matchmaking. Like, he could have done what you wanted him to do, but he didn't. And now you've got to get the ball, right? What's the right play in the end of the day? To adapt to the situation and rotate the ball and notice that your teammate isn't doing it. So that's what he should have done here. We spawn back C, and we're third spawner right now, meaning we have two teammates alive on the map that are in front of us, one on the left, one on the right. With that perimeter already starting on both sides, you could play mid-map here and do damage to center map. There's sort of a missed opportunity to just play the center between the two lanes and just do max damage on anything that you can as you come through here. Instead, we play a left side, and we sort of miss that. Not a big deal because we're just double hitting this lane together, and we can hopefully overwhelm these players. We end up getting surprised by somebody, and he just fives us. This happens sometimes. We throw a pre-nade. We see him. He just outshoots us, fives us before we can kind of do anything. He shoots well here. The only thing that kind of comes to mind is that we hesitate in no man's land before this. Like, just because we're shooting and chasing ball doesn't mean that there can't be a second guy in A that might challenge us. He's probably rotating the ball to the team, right? So we sort of stop ourselves and rotate or strafe left, right in no man's land. We got no cover here, right? So there shouldn't have been any of this hesitation, I think. Just continue progressing left all the way to Cafe without any hesitation so that when this guy does challenge you, you've got a pillar that you can work off of. We can do so much more once we have the pillar. We can peek him. We can turn curb slide this way. Strong side, get through to ATM and live and finesse our life. We're jumping off spawn again, so I don't know if this is like a controller issue or a bad habit, but we'll go out B side, grab the plasma, sees an enemy, throws a questionable nade all the way down B stairs. Just take your time. The best nade you can throw here is a bank off the floor to the left of the pillar. That'll hurt him without killing your teammate, which we're going to kill him anyway, or he's dying, I think, regardless. We get a pickup. Good sticky attempt, doesn't hit. We'll back up, stay alive here. They back up through to PD. We go for the chase. This kill on ball, super important. We've just killed Oddball. They're no longer collecting time. We don't have to rush anymore. Now that we've killed Oddball, we can take our time. We can bait off the ball in that position. He ends up flying out front, PD. This is scary to me, and you can see why. If we're paying attention to where our teammates are, we're all B side of the map right now. We're shooting them off of PD. The open spawn for the enemy while we shoot them in PD is Cafe. That's where they're going to be next. So when you're sitting on the planter like this, keep that in mind that they are spawning and will be coming from Cafe. We know that there's two players, or there were two players in PD. We got one. The other one we're trying to collapse on. He's only got two options. He can go this way to this door, which your teammate ends up collapsing towards, or he's going to come out through this door where he can go heaven ledge. So if you just sit here and wait for him to go heaven and just shoot him and back down and stay alive, then I think you'll have a much better time securing this versus playing this way. At a higher level, you're dead. You're just going to get melted immediately by this. So this is just really risky. We're lucky we don't take a lot of damage. We don't take any damage. Here, teammate does die for it, though. We'll come out through the back. You can jiggle peek this entire fight. Such an important skill to guarantee this fight while taking minimal damage so you can do more on the map afterwards. If we just peeked that from the outset, we'd be probably like half shields and killing him in this moment and then still have something left to fight whoever's above us. But we do come out, nice headshot, finish, and we'll die. Interesting life here. We're the third spawner behind our team on P Street that's already in a gunfight with the players and the oddball carrier on A. Notice the mirror spawn, by the way. The enemy spawned across from us in B. This happens a lot on this map. If you ever spawn in P Street like this and B is open, expect there to be a player across the map. The ball's over in A, and his team's already fighting it. If you move very fast here with some curb slides, you might be able to 3-hit straight through the back of A and just overwhelm these players. Knowing that that area is open, you can just get through really quick and hope that your teammates back you up. Alternatively, I don't mind the flank in this situation. It all comes down to how we play it. I like that he's aware of the open tires angle because there could definitely be a player in this open sight line. It's something to keep in mind as you make the flank. Be very aware of your open angles. You could kill ball as he walks across the hedge. Here, you can see his head before he crouches down. The nade throw is close. Off the ceiling is a good idea, just a little bit to the left, and it probably would have hit back A. This is an interesting situation where we're flanking the ball, but knowing that B is the open area off his spawn, there's a high possibility that at least one player is lurking on this lane. So a decision to come through here quickly is risky. You can hit a curb slide off this box and maybe skip it, and maybe take a little bit of damage for the sake of the flank here. But it might be better to do what he's doing as far as jumping backwards to tires and then jumping straight up from here to try to get a peek shot on the player in A, while at the same time knowing that you're baiting anyone that might be on the lane beside you. So make sure you're listening for somebody in tires or somebody on planter here. If you have that awareness, you can kind of bait a fight and help your team at the same time. But don't do this. He runs from the team fight. Now this hurts his team for a few different reasons, right? He leaves his teammate out to dry, who's still fighting for the oddball in A, which is a priority. Maybe he wants to get access to camo. But interestingly, if your team is fighting on the A side of the map here, they're blocking the spawns in A. So what does that mean? The enemy is going to spawn in C. So the open spawn for the enemy is behind him in this moment. As he goes for the flank, he ends up in the open sight line of the enemy spawner. Nate jumps in the air and dies, right? So in this situation, you want to make sure you full commit to the collapse with your teammates in A. Guarantee ball. It's better to control A side of the map for camo later. You can very easily turn around and pivot, get the sight line on camo, and burn the camo player, or watch it from tires. You got more options here. I can tell we're getting impatient. The panic is setting in at this point. We spawn B side here. We're already down one player. We get a whiff of someone on P Street as he comes through that doorway. And then he throws out both of his nades. I feel like we kind of waste our nades here. We know that if he's coming through that door, he's got to be caution corner. Second nade at the very least could have been off the wall into caution corner to force him out, or at least guaranteed some damage. I like the challenge. You got to be so careful and efficient with your micro movements in this situation. If we're all B side, once again, the enemy could be on Cafe, coming from that side of the map. When he steps out the tires, inch your way out carefully and peek shot this. Like, I'm talking shoulder it, barely peek. See how far he stepped out? Way too far already. Two angles we're walking into at the same time, and we're not jiggle peeking this. We're taking full damage. He could be dead here at a high level. He's jumping as well, which is risky. You got to be so aware of all the vulnerable angles as well, like getting shot from heaven ledge. So even just moving out to the door in the first place is risky. I like that we sit here, keep your presence low, get your shields. He's got great positioning for these follow-up fights. Finishes out one, and then we sort of rush again. You have great positioning. If you just hold crouch, jump from a crouch position, and then release crouch in the air so you hit the planter fast, you can kind of jump back and forth between the planter ledge and hold this high ground and really kind of force him to make a mistake while your teammate collapses. Big lesson to take away in this life for anyone that wants to excel at oddball is knowing when and where to rotate the ball. Off spawn here, where's our team? One already pushed up on P Street. He sort of cleared that lane for us, letting us know there's a low likelihood that somebody's going to challenge us on P Street in this moment. Our other teammate on the B side of the map here, as we collapse through to C, we know and anticipate enemies to be in C. As we come through and do damage, we got a shroud in the back pocket. We just killed two. Right now we got a numbers advantage. It's a 3v2 on the map. Your teammate on the left is in a gunfight in B. The only other location enemies could be, if our teammate just wrapped through P side and cleared that space for us, is B. Always rotate the ball to the direction that you've cleared, the area of the map that you've cleared, even if it seems risky to rotate the ball through mid-map in this moment. We have two good options here. We can take the ball right to ATM or P Street. By doing that, we'll cut the sight line from B and get away from the remaining two players on the map. If we're far enough from the enemy, our teammate who's spawning could spawn on top of us, making this easier, giving us time to rotate the ball somewhere safely after. Or we could try to speed the game up and get it through bottom mid super quickly. You can make it even faster if you can line up a curve slide off the gen and grab it after you slide. As you come through, you got to know the fights are coming from B because your teammate's fighting it. So get ready to drop and shoot rail, or worst case scenario, shroud at your feet to help get the ball through C to get it to the setup. In the worst case, if you die, at least it dies in open space. If we pick up the ball and we take it towards the enemy spawn in B, when we die here, they're going to pick it up immediately. Or at least, thankfully, the ball drops bottom mid, so at the end of this whole exchange, it's baitable. But I think the biggest thing is just very quickly understanding the safe area of the map to take the ball, where to anticipate the enemy, so we can get those efficient rotates out faster. We're spawning in disadvantage and playing too quickly here, right? Desperation once again. 2 dead X's, 2 dead teammates in front of us, only 1 alive in center map. We have no perimeter. If we play through center, this is risky. We could get overwhelmed by players on the left and the right here. We got the ball in center map. We still have plenty of time. We can bait the ball from C and just shoot and do damage and wait for our teammates to spawn behind us in C as we move forward together. I think that would be solid. Or if we got great teamwork, we could maybe 2-hit the perimeter with this player. If we can coordinate a 2-player hit up P Street at the same time, you might be able to use your numbers to overwhelm and get back some of the map as your team spawns C. But if we just play out mid sort of desperately like this and die too quickly like we do, and this is how the snowball starts. This is how things go from bad to worse, right? We're spawning in disadvantage, playing up and dying so that our teammates who just died are now spawning in disadvantage once again. Mixy life right here, and it's tricky to know what to do. You spawn up with a teammate already pushed up through center map. You go one on your left-hand side who's currently crossing somebody who you notice is B-rail, with the ball still center map as well. This player on B-rail is weak. We know there's at least 1 player fighting our teammate, maybe even 2 players fighting our teammate over on gen. You got to sort of be flexible and very sort of icy in a life like this. You could play up B stairs, and if you take a swift route up the railings of the stairs and cleaning this guy up off the damage, then you'll earn vantage point on the B side of the map, which is a good perimeter to hold, and get some of the map back so that we can safely collect the ball. We can kind of push up and collect the ball off of that. If we don't get this kill, and notice that we could have gotten stuck for going here, it's risky. If we don't get this kill, then we have to log in the back of our mind that these fights are still coming down on the P side of the map here. Your teammate was just fighting this off spawn. As he rotates ball, you can't just run through mid and not think about the ATM angle. You would have to slide jump up this gen with some fancy movement. You can crouch jump or jump backwards with precision, land on the pipe, and then jump to the tires window, all while fighting at the same time. It's sick to do this if you learn it, and I recommend it. And that would give you an opportunity to fight from laundry and support your teammate without just taking shots in the back for free. Of course, you don't have to jump backwards. You can maybe land on the gen and then curb slide out, or, you know, do something, but you got to be ready for a fight in the left side. You can't tunnel into the right side. And if we don't clear out the right side, and here he comes with vengeance later. So it's just a tricky dynamic here where we needed to be proactive and like icy on the one lane, or at least aware and efficient on the other.
Enemy team nearing. Enemy has the ball.
At this point, it's kind of out of his hands. Maybe if he was very fast and threw some good nades and slid out through to mid, maybe he could have got good damage on camo or killed it. Our teammate fumbles this big time, though. Our teammate should have been thinking of and pre-nading camo and just baiting camo. He was not at all. Big miss. And the only real opportunity for survival at the end of this round was to not let them have camo, because once they have camo, pretty much nothing you can do will stop you from dying here. You fly out P Street into a stalker camo. You fly out benches into a player hiding there, like, you're screwed. And I guess that's just how it goes in Halo and in life. You gotta get knocked down sometimes so you can learn, regain, come back stronger. Hopefully you learned something valuable from this video, or at least found it entertaining. If you made it this far, I want to thank my Patreon subscribers as always for the continued support. If you guys like this content and you want to support me, Patreon is the best place to do so. I've got more educational content there and opportunities to play the game with me if you guys want to grind some matchmaking or the new Delta Arena playlist. Otherwise, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. For more Halo content like this video, right beside me. This is the way.